one of the hardest things any of us human beings are ever going to deal with. Can you guess what it is? Trauma. See, trauma is one of those things where you have to look at it and say, okay, you got to look at it for what it is. You got to look at the situation. You got to look at the roots. You got to know what happened. Every piece of information about that traumatic situation, whatever it is with having to do with traumatism, it's important because, you see, you want to know what you're up against. You want to know how to attack it. And, I could go all into detail about why it's important to deal with your trauma. I could go all into detail. But the only thing that's going to help you is if I actually give you tips. So, when it comes to trauma, we have to look at it for what it is. We can't justify it. We can't, be stuck to the toxic trait of, oh, I'm going to let trauma touch every relationship I have. No, we got to address it for what it is. And also, trauma is one of those things where we have to deal with it, or else, we're not going to make a very great decision at some point in our life. Unless you're like me or someone like someone who has a personality. And the personality includes bottling up your emotions, but you have a calm, sense of things, and you have God in your life. And through leaning on God, you're not going to do anything stupid, no matter how hard it gets. That's a different type of strong. Anyways, topic for another video. So, we have to attack it. We got to look at its roots. We have to look at everything, because if we miss one thing, remember in life, detail is everything. And if you miss one thing, none of it's gonna matter. None of it's gonna matter, because it's like if I take this hat and, the whole reason for me, getting it was because I like wearing my hat like this. But then I never wear the hat. I always end up wearing it like this, which is basically the same thing except it's forwards. You see what I'm getting at? Like, you can't sit here and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna acknowledge everything. And again, you have to see it for what it is. And the result of you not seeing it for what it is, well, it can be costly. It can cost you progress. It can cost you, decision making. It can cost you time. It can cost you energy. You name it. There's pros and cons to this, whether anybody likes it or not. And another thing I want to mention is this, whatever situation it is, whatever, you're going through with it, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because, trauma is one of those things where it's not like a regular feeling. It's a feeling of its own. It creates this feeling inside your heart, depending on what it is. It's its own feeling. It's mixed emotions. It's just its own thing. It's not like anxiety. Although anxiety can be its own thing too, but you know anxiety by its name, and you know it by its feeling. You're gonna know trauma by its feeling, but it's gonna be its own thing, as in, it's not just anxiety or just sadness. No, it's trauma. Trauma can be sadness, anxiety. It can be many different things. But the result of you not dealing with that trauma, you could make bad mistakes. You could do something that you regret. You could ruin your entire life. And we got to learn how to deal with these emotions the right way. Again, because if we don't, we're going to regret it. You're going to come across two decisions at some point in your life. It's either going to be, I'm going to deal with these emotions with Jesus, and then I'm not going to deal with these emotions with Jesus. Two very different choices. It's like our relationship with God. We can't have one foot in the world and one foot out of the world. It's like the same thing with God and the devil, which is your relationship with God. You can't have, be on the fence about it. You can't be on the fence about God or be with the devil and be with God. No, it's either you're with God or you're not. And with this specifically, it's you're with the program of healing from this trauma and becoming healthy again, or you're not. And another thing, man, it can touch every relationship you have, but specifically, once it touches your relationships, depending on the person, you're gonna have unhappy people. You don't want to ghost people. You don't want to develop toxic traits. You don't want to get used to the toxicness. It's like when you only dated bad people, you're gonna be used to bad people. So when a good person comes, you're not gonna know how to handle it, and then you're probably gonna, ghost them or not talk to them as much. And then based on that, you're just, at some point you open up again, but it's gonna be a minute. So here's a few things I know to do. 1, pray. You need to lean on God at the moment. God, help me to get through this. Help me to truly process this. Help me to write down how I feel. Help me to process this. Help me to understand this. 2, go to therapy. Go to counseling, whatever you got to do with that. Because you see, you can pray for something, but faith without works is dead. So yeah, pray, spend your time with God, think about it, whatever you need to do it. 2, again, therapy, counseling, they're going to help you. God's going to use them to help you unlock things, to unlock the way you feel, to unlock memories, to get freedom. Think about somebody trying to break out of chains, you're standing tall and then I can't, there's chains around your wrists and you're and then slowly over time you're gonna break free, and the bondage and the trauma, you're gonna heal from it, And another thing, lean on God to have a strong relationship with Him, mindset, mentality, character, personality, all those things, so that this doesn't destroy your character. Because if it destroys your character, personality, relationship with God, mindset, and mentality, it's not a good thing. It's not a good sign. And again, you don't want to get used to toxicness. I'm not saying you will or you won't, but ultimately it's you versus you, man. The woman or man or girl or boy watching this, it's up to you. It's not up to nobody else. It's not up to nobody else because, you're you. You're inside, meaning you inside your body. Can't nobody force you to do this. God's not going to force you to do it because He's a loving God. He's a loving God. Now, not to say that, He's not going to hold you accountable. He will hold you accountable. But it's up to you to deal with this trauma. It's up to you to lean on God, to use His strength so you can lean on Him. You know what I mean? And, I don't know if that makes sense. Just lean on God. You know what I mean? Step by step, say, you got the feeling in your heart of trauma, be like, God, I need your help. Pray whatever you need to pray. So for instance, if I'm feeling the feeling, God, please help me process this. Please use this to help me get closer to you. What are you teaching me? Or wisdom. Scripture talks about how if any of you lacks wisdom, ask and you shall receive. Knocking the door will be answered. Anything like that, just ask God. You're going to receive wisdom. You're going to receive everything you need. Oh, sorry about that. You're going to receive everything you need. And once you receive everything you need, Romans 8:18, the pain you're feeling now can't compare to the joy that's coming. So the pain you're feeling now of that trauma can't compare to the joy that's coming once you're set free of that trauma or just anything like that. And second thing, Isaiah 60:22 says, when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. You connect those two verses. What do you have? You have a revelation. So Romans 8:18, the pain you are feeling now. Isaiah 60:22 says, when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. So the pain you're feeling now can't compare to the joy that's coming. So imagine the pain you're feeling now, the trauma you're feeling now, can't compare to the joy that's coming. And that joy is going to come when the Lord makes it happen. So, really, it's up to you and nobody else to deal with this trauma.